let's try to control the emotions. You know, if we take a couple trades and we win, let's walk away. If we take a couple trades and the market's not cooperating with our strategies today, let's just walk away. Let's finish Friday with no blowups, right? We don't want to have any blowups on a Friday. Now, in terms of price action today, you know, we've lost a daily 5 and 10. We're below this 20 SMA. We're below the VWAP here. If this starts to confirm the bottom here, do I want to take another scalp? If this starts to confirm the bottom of this range here, you know, you have room to this 15-minute ORB low at 286. The play off the open was a 5-minute short, 20 SMA short. We were below VWAP. We were below 5 and 10 daily moving averages. This was a nice opening drive short here. This reversal was nice. I didn't catch it until later. Like, I didn't realize because I was still short biased. But this right here, right, if you're looking at my screen, this right here was a good opportunity to try to bounce this back up through the 15-minute ORB low. I did take this short here, though, or this long here. Once we got back over VWAP, back over 20 SMA, back over daily 5 and 10, we closed over. I took this next one here into this green box. I took this long here. And then I did take a loss. I took a loss on the 30-minute ORB. I got fucking trapped here, and then it pulled all the way back. Not a big deal. Because of the two winners, we basically finished flat, and then I took a couple scalps here, and now we're green. So again, you know, at this point in stage of the game, I'm looking at the ATR. ATR in the 5-minute time frame is 35 points, but the market's really not going anywhere. I would like to tighten down the take profits, you know, 5 to 10 points, something in that range, 10 to 15 points max. If you get it, just get green, get the hell out, try to finish a nice Friday. What you don't want to be doing is sitting here chopping yourself up and just banging your head against the window, right? Like, you know, you're going to bang your head against the window enough times, it's finally going to shatter and you're going to get all scraped and cut up. What does that mean in trading terms? You're going to chop yourself. You're going to get so pissed off, you're going to blow up an account, right? Or you're going to finish down $800. You're going to finish down $500. And then you're going to be all pissed off coming into the weekend and wanting to get here on Monday, eager to get it back, you know, eager to get it back. And when you do that kind of crap, you know, that's when you put yourself in a really bad spot mentally, right? So always make sure you're stressing patience first, even for us as scalpers, because we're firing off multiple trades a day. Yeah, we're scalping, but we still want to scalp a good spot. Like, we don't want to just scalp some bullshit, you know, like we don't want to just scalp the middle of the range just for the sake of fucking it, taking it in the middle of the range. You know what I'm saying? So we still want to make sure that we're taking good trades. We're firing away scalps that make sense. We're adjusting those targets that make sense. You're still playing your levels. Like, if you realize we're in a channel, which we're in a channel, 30-minute ORB to this 15-minute OR is a channel, and we've got a midway point here with some clear support or some clear resistance, depending on if we're trading over or under, which is your daily 5 and 10 day moving averages. Okay, daily 5 and 10 day moving averages. So until we really start to flush out, we don't really have a bias yet. Like, it's just kind of going back and forth, right? So you want to make sure that you got your head screwed on straight before you start chopping yourself up. And again, you know, remember, the main thing here is that every single day you want to manage your P&L as if you're still going to be trading that same account in 12 months from now. How are you going to treat that account, whether you're a scalper or you're an intraday trader, or you're looking for bigger moves? How are you going to manage the P&L? If you normally walk away with $500 on the winning side, well, guess what, guys? If you're taking a $500 loss, you want to keep it in that sweet spot. You don't want to have an average day where you win 300 to 400 and your average loss day is 1,000. You're gonna blow up eventually, right? So yeah, it sucks to walk away when you're down. It sucks to lose a trade, but guess what? We don't control the outcome of the market. And because you don't control the outcome of the market, how can you be upset about the result of what happened on any one particular trade? Like this morning in mentorship, me and the people that were there, we took a losing trade. Some of us are still green. One of us walked away just content with that, traded another account, and had made money earlier in the day, so that account is green. So essentially, sure, one of these BS prop firm accounts is red. Fine. We got multiple accounts, right? That's the beautiful thing about leveraging multiple accounts with these prop firms. You can still fire away trades on other accounts and still make money on the day. You don't have to finish every single account green. If you're in the beginning stages, What I would recommend is trading each of your accounts separately and using every strategy that you use or every setup that you use as a different account number, right? So if I find a setup and I'm going short, take it on one account. If I find another setup that confirms another play, take it on another account. Hold on, guys. I'm managing a trade here. Hold on. I'm short through the 20 minute through the 20 play. Hold on. I'm just gonna take 65 bucks on that. I was short through this 20 play here. So I was doing my stupid monologue where I'm rambling. Anyways, it bounced right into, let me explain the trade. This is a trade that I took. Okay. This candle here at 8:30 Pacific closed below the 20 SMA. Okay, closed below the 20 SMA. The next candle confirmed, so I jump in. It bounced, right? I'm doing my stupid spiel. It's talking, I'm talking, it's bouncing. But all I'm focused on, you know, while I was watching this, do I stay below the daily 5 and 10? Do I stay below the daily 5 and 10? Target's down here at 286. Do I need it to touch 286? Nope. Did it come close to touching 286? Yeah, it came close right now to 288. Would I have made more money? Absolutely. Do I give a shit about losing out on some cash there? Absolutely not. Why? Because I took a quick trade. I made a quick 65 bucks. That current account is up 228. This is a funded account. That's beautiful. Guess what happens with $228? I log a green day with the prop firms. My balance continues to grow. I'm one day closer to a goddamn payout, right? That's all we're looking for. We're looking for payouts, right? I don't need to make $1,000 a day. I just need to get over, and I need to log green days. I need to continue to let these days log. So this was the potential here. This line that I have here at 286, this was your 15-minute low. 15-minute low. 5, 10, 15. Actually, what was it? Whatever it was. It was right here next to that 15-minute low or whatever the hell I had marked out. But this area, it came right down to it and tagged it beautifully, right? So came down there and tagged it beautifully. So for the new people that joined, Eric and OC, Eric, you in Orange County? Are you in Orange County? And then Mikhail, how are you guys doing today? I mean, price action wasn't the best, right? Price action wasn't the best. Were we able to find a couple scalps here and there? You know, we've got our head on straight at least. You know, what's going on? Love to hear from you guys. You guys can put it in chat. Hopefully you guys are here. Staying patient. Any trades today, Eric, or are you just kind of just waiting for something to happen? And are you in OC, Orange County? Nice. I'm up north. I'm up north along the coast. I'm up in Santa Barbara. Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, I know exactly where that's at. Oh, that's cool. Small world. Small world. Yeah, beautiful. Small world. We finishing green. Was the one loss a lot larger than the two wins? Or are we flat or are we green? Mikhail, so you're moving over to the SMA system, slightly red, so you're essentially flat. So, you know, maybe it's the next trade that puts you into the green. Here's how I would do it, Eric. If the next trade you find that looks good to you, that aligns with a lot of your bias, that aligns with your confluences, if you take that trade and you finish green, I'd walk away. I wouldn't look at it in a sense where I'd be super patient. Make sure you love the trade setup, regardless of however long you're going to sit and trade today. Make sure you love the trade setup. If it does win, just walk away. Don't say, okay, cool, now I'm a little green. Let me take one more. That's normally what gets us into trouble. If you take another trade that you love, and let's say you don't, it doesn't work out, right? Let's say it doesn't work out, then that's like 2 losing trades, 2 winning trades. You're basically flat on that percentage, but like the moves didn't really go in your favor. So I would also walk away, right? Just one more gets you into so much fucking trouble. Like it gets you into so much trouble. And, you know, that's a big thing. Like with trading, like we can be the best chartist in the world, the best price action readers in the world, that we could have the best strategy. And Eric, I don't even have the best strategies. I don't believe anyone has the best strategies out there. I think there's a million ways to skin this cat in this game. But I think, how well do we manage the strategies that we're using, and how well do we manage our books, right? If we are piss poor at managing our books, that starts with our head and our emotions, we can have the world's greatest strategy that operates at 90% win rate, but that 10% of trades that we lose, that one trade out of 10 that we lose, if that's going to blow us up and put us on tilt every single time, then we will be in this hamster wheel forever, right? So what we're trying to do is, we're a freaking hamster and we're trying to bust out of this wheel so we can just run. Like we don't want to be in this wheel anymore, right? I'm tired of running around in a circle. So when we start to figure out what's keeping us in that hamster wheel, then we can start making some progression, some strides. As far as Mikhail, you're moving to the SMA system. So again, this will take a little time to kind of read the markets, but let me give you an example. So this 20 SMA trade here was a 70-point range. Okay, this is a 70-point range. There's no shot in heck that I'm going to use 70 points as a stop loss, to use the top of this range as a stop and try to target 5, 10, 15 points. No way, right? It's just way too much risk. However, it is a legitimate setup. It is a lower high, and we did lose a lot of levels of support. So I still want to be involved in that trade, but I don't want 70 points of risk, of course, right? Especially if I'm looking to take 10 points off the thing, or 5 points, or 15 points, right? So I've got to find another area on my chart that is going to match up. So the 5 SMA, any closure over that, any closure over this daily 10, I would definitely recommend adding onto your charts daily moving averages. Daily 5, 10, 20 would be good to start with. That way you can have some other areas of support in demand. And again, just operate it like that. So even if I would have taken a loss here, it would have been a paper cut loss. I'm not trading too big a size today on a Friday, so it would have been okay. And then when you make a couple bucks, you get out of the trade, right? And then you analyze with a clear mind, do I still want to continue to trade? I'll tell you guys for a fact that this account is up a measly $228, but I won't be trading it anymore today. If I do want to trade, I've got other accounts here that I can pop open, and we could take a little trade on there. Right? So all I'm really trying to do, I'm a little bit different than a lot of people on social media, where I don't really care about posting that I made a $20,000 trade today on all 10 of my accounts. I don't really care, because you know what? At the end of the day, nobody but myself is putting food on the table. Nobody but myself is paying my mortgage. So with that being said, I know what gets me to payouts. I know how much I can make off of the accounts that I do have. How can I manage this so I can just take a payout a month on these accounts, right? The 11:15 Eastern candle on the 5-minute NQ closed below the 20, but quickly reversed. Let's see it. Let's see it here. So 11:15 Eastern, so that's 8:15 my time. Yeah, it never confirmed, Eric, so there was no trade. Talking about the short, right? Yeah. So, okay. So, in order for that trade to get triggered, that's step one. So, identify that the trend has changed, right? That's just my verbiage. The short term change in trend has started, because why? We closed under the 20. So, that's step one. Step two is this candle that reversed, never confirmed, right? So, this candle that reversed would have needed to sweep the lows of the candle that closed under the 20. That would have made it active. That would have made it active, right? So although this was a setup, there was no confirmation here. This is a no trade. This was a no trade. However, this trade here, long, did trigger, and it did fire. So it closed back over. That reversal closed back over, and the high was 21,353. The next candle shot up to 378. This, however, would have been a trade that would have put you into it and should have been fired upon if you were looking for it. Again, you'll get a lot of these setups a day. I don't take all of them. I take the ones that I feel, right? Again, And and what I feel, is it going to be 100%? Absolutely not. Like, I can pass up on a winner and I can take the loser. But if it fires and it triggers, get in, get out. And because, keep this in mind, because we're trading in a range and you can kind of see we're just going back and forth, we're not really moving higher, we're not moving lower. I'm not thinking, okay, if I get into this trade, we're breaking highs and I'm going to hold this all day. I'm thinking, can I get in here? Can I sneak in the back door and can I make 10 points on it? Can I make 15 points on it? That's what I'm thinking. So if you look at my trade, 11:30 Eastern, look at how that got me into it on the wick, and then it popped. So I did go into drawdown from about 308 all the way up to like 335. I got put in like 25 points drawdown on super small size though. On super small size. So I will always wait for it to break, because how I'm thinking about it is, if I already got one candle, I'll use a short for example. If I got one candle that closed below the 20, well, that's my closure, right? So I'm just waiting for the next candle to confirm the wick of that candle that closed below. That puts me into the trade. I have gotten that question a lot over the years. Is like, do you wait for the candle to close under and then wait for the next candle to close under? No. Because sometimes I've seen that candle confirm and then it's closing under 20, 30 points. I'm not going to jump into the trade that's already gone away from my bias, right? The 20 SMA. I'm not going to get into a trade that's 40 points away from where we broke down from. So it's always getting it right when it confirms. Smaller wins compared to before. I was taking bigger wins but blow up accounts. Yeah, so I mean, again, the whole idea, when you do take smaller wins, you have to get really good at managing yourself. Okay, get really good at managing yourself. Like, when you do take a couple wins, and although it was smaller, just worry more so about banking a green day versus the dollar amount on the screen, because gains start to compound really quickly. For example, yesterday I made about $200. Today I made 228 on this same account that I'm working. I'm up 500 and something bucks in 2 days. Okay, over the course of another 2 or 3 days, over a course of a week, you're up 1,000. You're up 1,000 a week. 4,000 a month on one prop firm is great money. You're going to still be able to take out $1,000 from it, $1,500 from that account. Then all you got to do is just backpack a bunch of accounts where you're taking, instead of taking a payout from one account, you're taking a payout from 10 accounts. And if you're not trading prop firms and you're trading a personal account, fine. That's even better. Banking $200, $300 a day, building up that account, making $1,000 a week. It's an extra $4,000. It's an extra $45,000, $50,000 a year. Trading exceptionally small price targets, and then you can always grow over time, right? You can always add more size. So yeah, so step 1, trigger candle. Step 2, enter when price action sweeps the below. Yep, exactly. But just use a little common sense, where like, if you're like really chopping around, you're getting like back-to-back triggers, and let's say you took one and lost a trade and it's going back again, and that trade traps and goes back. Like, just use a little common sense. Like, okay, I'm gonna stick out of this one because it's not really going. Like, don't feel the urge to take all of them. You know. So that is what it is. I'm assuming that at any point in time, if today we take out the IB highs, that's going to be a good trade. If that happens, it probably won't be till after lunch. And then, like, obviously, if we start to lose 286, you might have a quick scalp there. But this range here between 286 and 391, this 100-point range with the 50-point midline here with your daily moving averages, I mean, the market on a Friday is just struggling. So, like, if you think about this as a war, you have a war going on between buyers and sellers, and to be honest, nobody's winning this day's war. Like, nobody's winning the war. Buyers have they've won a small battle here, and then sellers won a small battle here, and it's been back and forth over this daily moving average. I'll give you guys the way I was taught. Whoever controls the daily 5 SMA controls the day. Whoever controls the daily 10 controls the week. So if we are struggling at the daily 5 and 10, that's clearly telling you that this is not ideal price action and nobody is in control of this day. So regardless, even if you feel like you have an A plus setup, it's liable to lose today because of the fact that this is a strong battle that's going on much bigger than your 5-minute setup or your 1-minute setup, you know? So exactly, yeah. If you're right by like a key level, if you're right by a key level, a macro level, a 4-hour level, a daily level, a weekly level that's been in play all week, and you got a beautiful setup short and you're like 5 points above that, I would probably wait for both of those levels to get broken and then take the trade versus trying to take that trade with anticipation that that bigger weekly or daily level is going to get broken as well. So, and to be honest, on a Friday like this with this kind of price action, I will tell you that I am not going to be sitting here for 3 hours. I won't be sitting here probably for an hour. I'm going to wrap up a nice Friday here and enjoy what seems like we're going to have some sun breaking through here. It's a little windy out over here, but you know, I will enjoy the day. I will live to trade for Monday. I'm not going to force trades, and I'm not going to, try to do things that are outside my playbook. I hate the people that sit there and they'll trade horrible price action like this and say, well, I'm still getting setups. I'm still getting setups. Yeah, you're getting setups in a horrible range, right? Like there's no juice here. There's no momentum here. So without the juice, your setups, I don't care how good they look, they're not going to really do anything, right? Because you're going to be taking the setup and it's going to go away with that. What is my recommendation in terms of taking trades in the first 2 minutes of open with high volatility managers? So here's the thing. I would recommend until you start building up a balance, you don't take any trades in the first 15 minutes. That would be my thing. Because the first 15 minutes is extremely volatile with ranges that confirm and they shoot back 20, 30 points and it could still go in your favor. So the only way that I would recommend it is, and again, some people hate to hear it, but I'd get down into 1 or 2 micros. I'd get down into 1 or 2 micros, and if you take a loss on it, cool. Maybe it's a paper cut. Maybe it's $100 loss. You're not going to destroy your mental, and you're not going to destroy your account. And if you win, maybe you pick up 50, 60 bucks on the trade, right? And you kind of get at least a little bit of a better feel. Now, I used to trade a lot of minis off the open. I've had some of my biggest winners off the open. I've also blown up the most accounts off the open trading minis, right? So again, if we go back to the analogy, I don't want to be the hamster in the wheel that keeps spinning myself around. If I can do much better and I can make $200, $300, $400 days not trading minis off the open, then why would I go back to trading minis off the open? you know? Yeah, so it's just play it safe. Everyone is different, personality wise, mentally wise, risk tolerance wise. Everyone is different. Some people can afford to do that. They can stomach the big losses or the big volatility because they like the big wins. They love the big wins when they're right. But again, if that's your business plan, that maybe you're going to burn a few accounts along the way to get a couple of accounts with the beefed up balance, then go for it. But if you know that you're not a type of person mentally that you get angry, right? Like I used to get super agitated if I would get into a trade off the open that looked beautiful, but then let's say the first 5 to 15 minutes the trade looked beautiful. I get in and it wicks against me 20, 22 points, 23 points, and I have to take the loss because I got to be an adult, right? I can't be a baby anymore. No one's going to pick me up when I'm crying and pat me on the back. I have to take the loss, and then I'm sitting back 20 minutes later and I'm watching that same move that I was in go in my favor now, and I would have made all this money. It used to irritate the shit out of me. So there was only one way for me to get around that. I can't trade minis at that time, and if I do, it's got to be a very quick scalp, 5 points, 6 points, something like that. Like I got to get in, it's got to make money, or I got to get out, or I got to go to micros, and I got to open up my stop loss a little bit and let this son of a bitch dance, right? I've got to let it dance a little bit and give it some room, right? Or there's always the other alternative. You just don't trade it at all. Like, I mean, there's days where like I'll jump on these live streams and it'll be like 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific, 8:30 in the morning Pacific, and I'll fire up a couple of accounts like that I hadn't traded already off the open, and I'll still manage to find some trades. I'll still manage to, make some money. So it's not necessarily about the time of the day. You know what the time of the day off the open that's so brutal is that the market's moving so fast. So naturally we're going to feel like we're going to make all this cash, right? Happened to me yesterday. Micros. Yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing. Yeah. If it's not good, if it's not good for your health, I mean, trust me. There's been times that this monitor has been, ready to go out the window. I mean, numerous times, right? Numerous times. Beautiful looking setup. I feel I got a right read on the market, and I'm just trapped. I'm like, son of a gun. And there goes the monitor out the window, right? We're calling Geek Squad to come bring us another monitor because, it just didn't work out, right? So, you gotta learn who you are as a trader. You gotta learn. Some people are really good at it. There's a couple people in this room that are really good at it. You'll see like in the first, as you guys stick around, people will post in the gains section, in 20-30 minutes already they're logging out $1,000 a day. It happened today. One of my buddies in here, Bodo man from Hawaii, he's throwing up that $900 win, and I think I was only one trade in at $100, right? So that's another thing too. You can't really compare yourself to other people. Other people trade differently, and again, for me, evaluations, sure. Like if I get a fresh evaluation, will I go throw on a little size, go take some minis and try to scalp something quick? Absolutely, right? But funded accounts, I also want to keep this clear to you guys. However you guys manage is your guys' prerogative. But I'm always going to talk as if I'm speaking to someone that's got 10 or 20 funded accounts, and that's how I'm speaking to you. So I'm going to speak to you in terms of tight, like manage your risk, guys. Like don't take trades if you don't need to, limit your trade counts, get out of the trade if you don't feel good. Like I'm going to always speak as if we're trading fundeds. If we're trading evaluations, guys, I'm firing 2 minis, 3 minis, 4 minis at a time, popping here, popping there, doing whatever. I don't care about minis. About evaluations. So I'm always going to speak in terms of we're managing live capital or we're managing fundeds, right? So however you want to manage your evals, you guys can do that however you want. If you want to manage your evals the same way you're going to manage your funded accounts, then I'm going to tell you, if you're on a 50K account, you better be on micros for a fact. And I would limit it to 5. You can make great money trading less than 5 micros. I'll tell you that much right now. I had a day earlier this week. I made about $480, taking a handful of trades on some micros, between 4 and 5 of them. I'm really watching this 15-minute chart right here, 21,286. We've got 30 minutes of consolidation here down here at this floor. If we start to lose 286, I could maybe see a sweep. It also looks to me on a 15-minute chart like, it might be setting up for this triple bottom test, right? We got this low here from pre-market. We got this higher low here. I could see one more higher low that dips below 86s into 70s and then springs back up. Again, to me, it's telling me not great price action, but it is telling me below 286. There might be a little bit of a move there where I can catch a quick scalp on a Friday. How long is this going to take to set up or confirm? I have no idea. I'm ready to get off the computer screen now, guys. I'm ready to go at 9 o'clock in the morning here. So been sitting here for 2.5 hours, rambling my brains off. I'm already ready to go. But anyways, to both of you guys, welcome in here. Look forward to having you guys in here. We're trying to build a great team in here that everyone can learn from, and we can trade together. That's what it's all about. I treat this as a trade floor, so it's not really a, hey, look at me guys, look at what I'm doing. I'm not that type of guy. I'm not kind of like sitting here going to tell you guys, I'm not going to tell you guys when to buy, when to sell. I'm not going to tell you guys what the best strategy is. I think, 1,000 ways to skin this cat. They're all good. Just how well do we manage the trade when we put the idea on? You know, do we have a clear technical reason to get out of the trade for a loss? And do we have a, you know, an idea of where we want to take some profits, right? That's true, Bill. Yeah. Bill, I opened up another account, so I guess technically I get a pass here because this will be the first trade on this account. Those other two accounts are done. 228 on one, 184 on the other. Funded account. So I look at this type of day and I'm like, okay, 300. This is a $400 day here, right? Where can I make $400 in 2 hours? I'm not that smart, so I don't think I can do it doing anything else. And the discipline and the self-control is the hardest thing, guys. The emotional control is the hardest thing in trading. If you guys can learn how to master that, you're going to be okay. But I'm going to sit here and tell you that it's not easy. It's not easy. I've been trading for 13 years between equities, options, and now futures. You know, I still get upset, right? I still get upset. I still have tilt days. You know, I just manage them a lot better, right? That's the only difference. So you're never going to get away from those feelings. So I know a lot of people think that, oh, if I learn this or I learn that, eventually I'm not going to feel what I used to feel. No, you're still going to feel what you used to feel. You're just going to get better at managing those feelings. And probably the best thing is always just getting your ass off the screen. Like, get off the screen. You're not gonna will your way to $1 million today. You're not gonna will your way back from being emotionally on tilt. Okay, it's just not gonna happen, guys. Take the higher road here, take the higher ground here, and just get off the screen. There's times, and today is gonna be one of them. I would love to take more trades. I would love to sit here and chat with you guys because I love doing this so much. I would love to sit here with you guys all day and ask about, you know, what color the sky is and what color the flowers are outside your guys' houses. But to be honest, guys, I'm not going to do that because, you know, there comes a point in time where we all lose patience. And if you start to lose patience, you're no good to yourself, right? Like if I sit here and I force myself to sit here for 2 more hours because I know something's coming. I know something's coming. I know if we break this range, we're going to go. I know if we break the top side, we're going to go. But at that point, you're mentally spent. I would rather be mentally fresh for Monday than to take a trade that still whipsaws me and I take a loss and then I would get all mad that I sat here for 2 more hours waiting for that trade and then it didn't work, right? So you got to know when to cut yourself off. You have to know when to cut yourself off. If you can't cut yourself off, you're just doing yourself a disservice. We might as well just lock you guys back up into the hamster wheel and just continue to spin the ball around, right? Because I'll tell you what, unless you guys, and again, I hate to get, dark and deep here, but unless you guys do not plan on waking up tomorrow, unless you guys don't plan on waking up on Monday, you're going to get another setup. The price action is going to continue to move. You're not missing out on anything, you know? As far as I'm concerned, people think the world's ending today, tomorrow, the world's not ending. Okay, the world's still going to be here. We're still going to be moving along. You know, rain, shine, snow. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. So, and you'll be very surprised. Time passes very quickly. Take your experience in this market. Take your experience in this market. However long you've been trading, however long you've been learning, however long you've been, fumbling around all these discords and fumbling around all of these YouTube pages and reading all these books and listening to podcasts, all that time that you've spent, put an estimate on it. Is it months? Is it years? Look how fast that time has passed. So now start taking a good reflection of yourself. Start looking at yourself in the mirror and say, do I want to sit here next year and still be wondering and thinking and doing the same things? Or do I want to just get my ass in gear here and start doing what's right? Because whatever I've been doing up until now is not working. So if something's not working the way that I've been doing it, what is the thing that I already know I should stop doing? And for those of you new people, like there's a couple of you guys in here. For the older people, I've already given you guys this spiel before. But I can ask any one trader right now, what's your biggest problem? I'll just do it to the new guys and then I'm probably going to head out. Eric and OC, Mikhail, what's your biggest problem that you know in trading right now? What's the biggest problem that you always kind of run into? I'll wait for Mikhail. You guys notice how it's nothing with strategy? You guys notice how none of those two answers had to do with, I don't know how to click buy or click sell. I don't know, what pre-market high is. I don't know what, I don't know what a simple moving average is. You notice how none of that's related to strategy? It's always us. Eric, I'm my biggest problem. I'm still my biggest problem, right? But I know that. So every day I'm not focused on what strategy or what's the best stop loss or what's the best, when should I be trading? I already know what time I should be trading. If I trade New York, I need to trade New York. I need to make my window. I need to stick to my window. I'm not happy with the trade setups that I got inside my window. And by the way, my window is until about right now, New York lunch hour. I normally take a break and then I kind of come back later in the day. But we already know what our biggest problem is. So now let's take that problem that we already know and let's just focus on that every day. So for Mikhail, if it's trading outside of New York session, you got a hard rule, right? And I would limit it. Mikhail, do you want to trade the AM session or you want to trade the PM session? AM session would be until lunch. PM session for New York would be after lunch. Pick one. Start with that. Let's just start with that. So between 9:30 and 12, that's my window. I'm going to live and die by the results in my window. Even if the results are zero and I took no trades, live and die by that. Start forcing yourself to implement the discipline by walking away and coming back tomorrow. You're going to be much more clear-headed. For Eric, the biggest problem, letting a red trade get to your head, I used to have this problem a lot with mini contracts because I knew that the only reason why I took the loss was because I needed to protect myself before I blow up. So I have to take the $300, $400 loss. And I would just get upset because I knew that I was right. Like I knew that eventually I was going to catch the trade. What helped me with that? I will only take mini trades, like where I'm trading minis on a for sure thing. And again, when I say for sure thing, nothing is for sure in trading, but I know a for sure thing is when I feel all the stars align and I know that I'm just going to get in and out for a couple $100, right? Couple $100, I'm in and out of this puppy. That's a for sure thing to me. I knew that trading micros from 1 through 5, 1 through 6 micros did me a lot better. I didn't get as mad when I lost a trade. I didn't feel as bad. Looking at a $150 loss trading micros is a hell of a lot easier to stomach than looking at a $600 loss on mini contracts. Hell of a lot easier, and it changes the mindset. Sure, I'm not going to make as much money. That's a given, right? That's a given. But I'm going to be able to stack more winning days up where it's going to compound. Session lockout on Top Steps should be better. Of course, I always agree. If anyone is with any prop firm that uses Project X, use the lockout feature. If you're on TraderVate, go into your settings, go to the account, go to risk settings, set it up for the day. The only problem with TraderVate's, it will kind of let you tinker back into that if you adjust with those settings later on in the day. But it will definitely auto liquidate you out when those numbers are hit. If that's the problem with over trading and revenge trading, I would definitely do those things to start, and I would work on that plan and that plan only for 30 days. That plan and that plan only for 30 days. Accepting a red day is another one. That's a problem that a lot of people have. It's either I gotta finish green or I blow my shit completely out of the water, right? We can't do that because I'm going to leave you guys with this. Even if your strategy operates between 65 and 75% win rate, right? Which a lot of scalpers strategies will operate in that system. You're still going to have 2 to 4 losses every 10 trades. Okay. Let's break this down even more. If you finish about 80 to 90% green days, that means out of 5 days, you might be looking at 1 red day. Out of 5 days, you might be looking at 2 red days. It's going to happen. So you already know, based on simple math, that if your strategy is not 100%, which no strategy is, even if your strategy is 90%, you're still going to have 1 losing trade out of 10. You're still going to have 1 losing day out of 10. It's how do we manage that to accept it, to let the math work out. And a lot of the times it's like, we got to finish green. We got to finish green. No, I finished red today. Why did I finish red? I'm not going to pass this account. I'm not going to get paid. You will pass the account. you're still on track. The math is still being the math. The math is working. Why are we going to try to outsmart the math? So with that problem, remove yourself from the equation and just let the math do the math. Maybe if you operate on a strategy that's a little bit lower, let's say people that take bigger PTs, maybe they're hitting at 45 to 55% of the time. Their losses are 500, but their wins are 1,000 type of deal, right? Those people are going to have much bigger or more losing days in the month, but they're okay with that because when they hit the winners, they're hitting winners that are going to eat up the losing day and then some. If you're a scalper, we're used to a higher win rate, right? So we're used to a higher win rate with losses that can be a little bit bigger. It depends, Yagos, how big of the loss is compared to your winner. So I'll start there. Your average win is how much in dollars? Just a rough estimate average. 40 or 50. Your average winner is what? And your average loss is how much? Guys, I'm still watching 286. What's the app? 100 to 200. Okay, so when you finish a day where you've had some winners and you're walking away on a green day, not a trade, a green day, what's your average winning day? When you walk away, what's your average winning day? Guys, watch the 286. $200 to $250. And you're in a loss day. Do you have lost days or do you blow up? Okay. So Yagos, put a daily loss limit on yourself for $300. That's it. $300. You can't lose no more than $300. You lose $300, I don't care if it's in one trade or I don't care if it's in 5. You got to walk away. And if you don't do that, it's not the markets, it's not the setup, it's not the strategy, it's not Trump, it's not anything else. It's you. You got to walk away. 300, that's it. I'm very direct, I'm very blunt, I'm very simple. $300 a day or less, because if you average win between 200 and 250, great. You only need to win one more day and you're right back to where you started. So there's no disappointment there. Oh, I'm out. Guys, I took the breakdown through 286 for a quick scalperoo. 280 for a quick scalperoo. I had a sell stop order there and it went all the way down to 275-ish. Went all the way down to 275-ish. I didn't make that much money on it. I made about $70 on it. I had 5 micros on the table. Now this account's at 295. Okay, I'm done with that one. So that's it. So again, I'm going to answer your question again, and I want you to sit back, reflect, and think about this. Here's your question. I have a high win rate, but my losers are always way bigger than my winners. What can I do about that? My average winning day can be from $200 to $250. Okay? So, or your losing trade or whatever you're talking about. So if you're winning 200 to 250 on a good day, that's average. I want to keep the amount that I'm going to lose in a day, whether it's on the first trade of the day in the first minute, and I have to force myself to go in the corner and sit in the corner chair and cry about it. I have to stop trading. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no secret sauce. If you're going to average $200 on the win side, I'm going to give you some leeway. I'm giving you leeway, right? I'll give you $300 of risk. But you lose any more than that, you're fired. It's done, right? Put yourself in that situation. Imagine you worked for a firm that says, okay, for the first 30 days, your probation is if you make over $200, you got to stop trading. If you lose $300, you're out. I might let you slide once, but the second you lose another more than 300 of my dollars as a firm, you're fired. No food on the table to eat, no car payment, no insurance, no nothing. You're done. Bye. Get out of here, right? I don't want you. If you can't do the job, I need to find someone who can do the job. I used to tell myself that all the time. I would play mind tricks with myself. But you know, even if you're scalping and you are taking bigger losers, because a lot of times my losses will be bigger than my winners, 100%. So if I look at this account today, Did I take a loss on this account? I didn't. Let me go to the other one. I took a loss on one account. So look at this. Look at this. I'll just give you some food for thought. Melissa, you're late. Melissa, you're late. I'm just giving you a hard time. But I'm going to be out of here, Melissa, in a little bit. Did you win any money today, Melissa? Look at this. Yagos. Where the hell is it at? Okay, look at this. I told you guys I took one losing trade, right? So on the mentorship today, we took the 30-minute opening range break, second entry, got my ass for $189. It got me for $189. But my average winning trade today on this account was $87. And I took 6 trades today. Okay. So going back to your point, Yagos, you're going to have, as a scalper, sometimes some losses that are bigger. But here's the thing. I took a $189 loss on trade number 3. I was already up 140. So I was an idiot on this account. I gave it all back, right? I hit the first trade on my 3K pursuit challenge for like 100 and something bucks, and I walked away on it. And then I thought it would be a bright idea to go go fire up my other accounts that I have and go start trading on them. I did great 1-2 trades, and then I lost one. I basically went from green to flat, right? Stupid me. Okay, slap me on the wrist. But then as I started to see some price action, seen some choppiness action, I had a little bit of better feel for the market. So what I did from there was I'm still taking my average winning day, Yagos, of 200. I'm about in that range myself. I'm still taking my average winning day of 200. Now at this point, after winning 2 trades and losing 1 trades, I'm down $40. Well, I'm still well in range of not losing more than $200, $250, right? So I can go take some more trades. And because I've seen the price action, I've got a little bit better feel of the market. I ended up hitting some good trades, and I just hit this last one here below the 286 mark that I've got marked out on the chart, right? So just letting the math run with itself. Letting the math run with itself and just protecting your average winning day. You know, like I said, Yagos, for you, I'll give you $300. You can lose $300 a day. But if you lose any more than $300 a day, don't ask why this is not working. Like, you know, don't ask yourself, how come I can't get it? How come everyone else is doing this? Because you already know what you need to do. Make 200 to 250 on your good winning days, and then lose no more than 300. And like you said, you have a higher win rate on the strategies and setups that you're using. Only natural that the math is going to do the math thing. Why are we trying to step in front of the math? Right? That's today's monologue. Again, guys, I'm out of here.